Welcome, my dear. Come sit with me for a little while, and let us remember some of life's gentle things. Long before supermarkets, before electric lights, and before modern kitchens filled with convenience, there was a golden liquid that many families considered one of their greatest treasures. It was not locked away in royal vaults, nor hidden inside palaces guarded by soldiers. Instead, it quietly lived beside ordinary people. It sat on kitchen shelves, rested inside clay jars, and accompanied daily life from sunrise until long after sunset. For thousands of years, olive oil nourished bodies, brightened homes, and comforted weary hands. Many people believed the olive tree itself was a gift worthy of gratitude. Its fruit carried sunlight gathered slowly across many seasons, and from that fruit came a liquid so useful that entire civilizations depended upon it. Today, olive oil may seem ordinary, but its story is anything but ordinary. Tonight, I would like to share that story with you. A story of patience, faith, family, and one humble treasure that was once worth its weight in gold. I still remember how older generations spoke about olive oil, not with excitement, not with admiration, but with a quiet respect. The kind of respect people reserve for things that have cared for families over many generations. Many homes had very little excess, yet somehow there was always olive oil. It accompanied breakfast. It appeared at supper, and it often remained nearby throughout the day. The more I learned about history, the more I understood why. Because olive oil was never simply food. It was woven into nearly every part of life. And to understand its value, we must begin where every drop begins. Olive trees teach a lesson that modern life often forgets. Some things cannot be rushed. An olive tree grows slowly. It matures slowly, and often it asks years of patience before offering its finest harvest. Many ancient families planted olive trees for children who had not yet been born. They understood that some blessings belong to future generations. There is something beautiful about that kind of thinking. A person plants, another generation harvests, and the tree remains quietly faithful through both joy and hardship. Some olive trees living today were already old when great-grandparents were children. A few have survived for well over 1,000 years. Their roots reach deep into the earth, and perhaps their wisdom reaches just as deep, because every drop of olive oil begins with patience. Long before a switch on the wall could fill a room with light, evenings arrived very differently. As the sun slipped below the horizon, darkness slowly settled across fields, roads, and homes. And when darkness arrived, olive oil often became light itself. For countless generations, families relied upon small oil lamps to brighten their evenings. The lamp was often simple, a little clay, a woven wick, and precious olive oil. Together, these humble things pushed back the darkness. Children listened to stories beside that light. Meals were shared beside that light. Prayers were often whispered beside that light. Many of life's most meaningful moments unfolded within its gentle glow. Perhaps that is why light became such a powerful symbol throughout history, because people understood how precious it truly was. Every flame represented comfort, safety, and hope. In many traditions, olive oil became associated with wisdom and guidance, a light that quietly served others without demanding attention for itself. There is something beautiful about that image. A simple flame, a quiet service, a reminder that even small things can bring great comfort. Yet olive oil was valued for far more than light. Its importance reached into some of the most sacred moments of ancient life. Throughout biblical history, olive oil appears again and again, not merely as food, but as a symbol of blessing, a symbol of abundance, and a symbol of care. Kings were anointed with oil. Prophets were anointed with oil. Sacred spaces often welcomed its presence. Many people believed olive oil represented something precious yet gentle, something powerful without being harsh, something valuable without being loud. Perhaps that is one reason its symbolism survived for so many centuries, because olive oil reflected values that people hoped to preserve: patience, stewardship, faithfulness, and quiet service to others. As the centuries passed, olive oil became far more than a household treasure. It became one of the most important goods traded across the ancient world. Long before modern highways and cargo planes, olive oil traveled extraordinary distances. Clay jars filled with oil crossed seas, rivers, and deserts. Some journeys lasted weeks, others lasted months. Every jar represented countless hours of labor. Every shipment carried the efforts of entire communities. Ports throughout the Mediterranean became gateways for this liquid gold. Merchants understood its value well. Families understood it even better. For them, olive oil was never simply another product. It was daily life preserved inside a jar. It represented meals yet to be shared, lamps yet to be lit, and seasons yet to come. Entire economies rose around the olive tree. Yet, despite its commercial value, people rarely forgot where it truly came from: a tree, a harvest, and the patient work of many hands. There was a reason many families treated olive oil with such care. It simply did too many important things to be wasted. In the kitchen, it helped feed the family. In the evening, it helped light the home. In many traditions, it was also used to care for the body. Long ago, many people applied it to dry skin. Others used it during cold winters when the air became harsh and dry. Many grandmothers quietly kept a small bottle nearby, not because it was fashionable, because experience had taught them its usefulness. Nothing was wasted. if it could still serve a purpose. That mindset was common in many older generations. People valued what they had, not because they had abundance, but because they understood effort. Every bottle represented seasons of work. Every drop represented time. And perhaps that is why olive oil was treasured like gold. Not because it sparkled, but because it faithfully served the people who depended on it. If you stepped into many old kitchens, you would often find olive oil waiting quietly nearby. It rarely occupied the center of attention, yet somehow it always seemed to be present. Many grandmothers reached for it almost without thinking. A little for the bread, a little for the vegetables, a little for the soup simmering gently on the stove. Simple meals often became memorable meals, not because they were extravagant, but because they were prepared with care. I think many older generations understood something important. Comfort does not always come from abundance. Sometimes it comes from familiarity, and few things felt more familiar than olive oil in the kitchen. Today, science is slowly rediscovering some of what traditional families believed long ago. For generations, people viewed olive oil as something deeply nourishing, not because they had scientific papers, but because they observed life closely. Today, some researchers are beginning to understand why olive oil became such an important part of traditional Mediterranean diets. Modern studies quietly support its place within balanced eating patterns. Science continues to explore the natural compounds found within olives, and each year we seem to learn a little more. Yet perhaps the most important lesson remains surprisingly simple. Many healthy traditions were built around simplicity. Simple foods, shared meals, time spent together. Sometimes wisdom arrives quietly. Few symbols have traveled through history as gracefully as the olive branch. Across many cultures, it came to represent peace, hope, and reconciliation. Perhaps this symbolism grew naturally from the tree itself. Olive trees are remarkably resilient. They endure storms, they endure drought, and often continue producing fruit for generations. There is something deeply hopeful about that. The tree survives, the harvest returns, life continues. Perhaps that is why people saw peace within its branches. When we look back at the story of olive oil, one lesson appears again and again. The most valuable things are not always the most complicated. An olive tree, a harvest, a meal shared with loved ones. These things may appear ordinary, yet they often become our most treasured memories. Perhaps olive oil was treasured like gold because it reminded people of what truly mattered: family, patience, stewardship, and gratitude. So the next time you see a bottle of olive oil sitting quietly on a shelf, perhaps you will remember the story behind it, the centuries of harvests, the families who cared for the trees, the lamps that brightened long evenings, and the countless meals shared in gratitude. Sometimes history survives in the most ordinary places, and sometimes wisdom does too. Thank you for spending these quiet moments with me. Take gentle care of yourself this week, and remember that some of life's greatest treasures still come from the simplest things.